Hi, bit of a tool acquisition today. This is a Wilton Bullet Vise, so named because of its shape. I picked this thing up off of Craigslist today from a guy called Chris. Nice guy. We had a little bit of a chat, shop chat, talked about some engines, cars, cool stuff, and he found this at a friend's shop. He was selling off some stuff, so he picked this up. And now he's passed it on to me. Pretty good price. You know, these things are commanding a bit of a cost in the market today, but I got a decent deal. And well, let me kind of show you around. So it's a little stiff, needs a little bit of TLC, but overall it seems to be in good condition. Definitely seems in use. These removable jaws appear to be, I think these are the hard jaws, but they should be easily removable and replaced with probably copper is what I'm going to go with ultimately. A little bit of banging on the anvil here, but that's what it's for. And as for dating this vise, well, it's a little unclear. It says down there, there's a little stamping that looks like a 45. So does that look like a 45 to you? I'm not sure. But whatever year it is, it's in pretty good condition, definitely usable. Only missing one thing. The end cap, unfortunately, is not there, but that does not prevent its use. My plans for this thing are to clean it all off, get rid of some of the rust and grime that's on this thing. And kind of repaint it, or at least enamel it, so that it doesn't rust. Oh, and I also got this this little bench here, $13, probably because of that. So yeah, one nice thing about these vices is that they have this this tube assembly here, protecting the lead screw. So that's a nice feature. Not much interesting in there. There's just a whatever you call that thing. What do you call that thing? Nut? No, that's not a nut. Well, anyways, the lead screw goes in there. Yay! And there's a keyway that matches up to this key. So here's the static jaw. After a little bit of wire wheeling, actually a lot of wire wheeling, we can kind of get an idea of the original color. It's kind of greenish white. Anyways, that's just stage one. Unfortunately, the second jaw, I've been unable to get the bolts out that hold the removable jaw in place, or cap in place. So I've had that soaking in some of this stuff, and hopefully I'll be able to free it up. But in the meantime, got lots of other stuff to clean up. It's all dirty in there. Couldn't get in there with the wire wheel, so have some more cleanup ahead of me. Anyways, I didn't notice this little patch of red, so I guess this thing used to be red, and the white that you're seeing here is probably just the primer. So I managed to get this screw out, or this bolt out, but this one's still kicking my butt. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run to a hardware store and get myself a bigger screwdriver. Well, despite using my secret technique, I was only able to strip out that screw, so didn't work. So I'm afraid what's left is this. Probably gonna have to drill that out, and yeah, see what we can do. Well, I'm not really excited about my leaning tower of Wilton here, but seems to be fairly solid, so I think I'm going to flatten off the top of that bolt to an arbitrary depth. and then start doing some measuring and see how far down I have to go. Get a datum point on the top of this jaw compared to this jaw here, and then center myself on that bolt hole there. I'm going to do the thing that A-Bomb 79 does and mount the camera to this indicator holder. My little Mobius action cam already has a magnetic base. This is made out of steel. There you go. Done. So I did some measurements, and you know, there's the depth of the hole and the diameter of the hole. And I'm just going to write a CNC G-code program that just mills that out, interpolates that. It'll do it all for me. If I need to do some tweaking later on, I'll just shift the origin of Z down a little bit and go for it, I guess. Okay, so as usual, I misread my depth mic. Gotta practice some more. But anyways, it's 0.225, not 0.325. Good thing I double checked. But anyway, here's my little CAD program, or sorry, I should say CAM program. That'll go and whoop, cut a little hole to 0.225 depth and 0.425 diameter. So let's generate this G-code and make it happen. And in case you're wondering what program I'm using CamBam. Highly recommended. It's nice and cheap, at least for what it does, and it just allows you to both draw simple little sketches and then assign machining operations to the shapes in your sketch, or you can you know, import any number of different things. So, you know, 3DS, STLs, Gerbers, or Gerbers, however you want to say that, for PCB manufacturer, DXF, you know, all those kinds of things. So if you want like to use a different CAM program, like for instance I use ViaCAD Pro for my real stuff, you can do that. So anyways, enough chit chat. Alright guys, this is about the best shot I can get you. My Mobius is actually has a wide angle lens on it, and it's really tuned for kind of longer shots. So up close like this, about, you know, a foot, the focus is pretty terrible. But I have you about as far out as I can get you. But it should be fairly clear, at least to get an understanding of what I'm doing. So yeah, just to start out with, I'm just going to manually go in there and flatten things off a little bit, clean up some of the twisted metal from my attempts at removing that bolt, and then we'll go from there. So hopefully that'll let me get in there with the edge finder there and find the center of this circle. Yeah, let's go on with that. Finding the center of a circle is pretty easy. With this edge finder, what you do is you kind of go vaguely in the center, and then you pick a direction. I'm going to choose X. Move to the positive side in that direction. So I'm going to go that way until this thing hits the edge. I'm going to zero the DRO on this side. Then I'm going to move to the left until the other side of the circle hits the edge finder. And then I'm going to take the DRO and set it to half of its value. So, you know, say this is 0, this is minus 1 on this edge. Then I'd set this to minus 1/2, so that 0 would be right in the middle. Then I repeat for the other axis, and there you go, I'm centered. Alright, that looks vaguely in the center. Alright. So I'm going to turn on the spindle here, slowly. Not that slow. So now I'm just stepping to the right. I'm a little high, actually. High and wide. Not anything else, people. Anyways. Alright, there we go. Got touched. So I'm going to 0x. Move back over. Alright. So, get out my handy dandy calculator. Alright. So the DRO on X right now is reading minus 0.2102. I want to divide that by 2. So now I'm going to set my DRO to minus 0.1051. Alright. So that's centered there as a little sanity check. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move. Set that up correctly. I'm going to move until X reads 0. So that's about it right there. And yep, that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to repeat on Y. Okay. So my DRO now reads 0.2121, which you'll notice is different from the reading in X, and that's actually fine because in X I was probably a little off center, so the diameter of the circle was a bit less. You know, effective. Sorry, I shouldn't say it that way. The edges were closer together because you can imagine if a circle has a radius, 1, for instance, so the side to side is 2. If I'm reading the edges, way down here, I might only have 1/2 distance between the sides of the circle. So that's actually fine. Okay, so I've loaded up the program in Linux CNC. So my next step is to touch off Z with this tool. So I'm just going to move over a little bit. Again, nothing too critical. And I'm just going to go down until I touch the jaw. Alright, that's it. So I'm going to touch off there. Put some oil in there. Alright, let's go. So the first few cuts won't actually hit anything because the fastener is actually below the surface that I'm considering Z of 0. So in theory, this shouldn't actually touch the walls at all. And it's scraping a little bit, but that's fine. Okay, so I think we got through there. The sound of the cutting changed quite a bit. To be sure, I'm going to go ahead and take a few more thousandths. I'll bring you in with the other camera. Okay, so we're getting close to the final depth here. And I don't know if you can see, but I can still see a little lip on the outside edge of that bolt, so I know that the bolt is still there. See that edge there? Just broke through on this side, but here it's still the bolt. So what this tells me is that we're probably off, at a bit of an angle, but the mounting isn't exactly flush. So see, the cutter seems to be happy, so I'm gonna do, yeah, it's almost there, so I'm just gonna take a couple more thousandths. And there we go. Sure beats trying to drill it out with a normal drill, eh? Cool, so let's get this thing out of here and see if we can knock this jaw loose, and then hopefully be able to get a vice grip on the remaining stud and rip that out of there. So clearly it was seized in that bore. I can almost turn this by hand, actually. Yeah, I'm turning it. I have to try really hard, but now I can turn it by hand. This little adventure has unfortunately cost me the ability to fully prepare this vise for painting tonight, because it's about 11:40 and I don't want to start, busting out the wire wheel on the grinder and piss off the neighbors. So unfortunately this will have to remain as it is. Maybe I'll do some detail work on this guy. But yeah, I'll see you in a little bit.